Free Game Thursdays, powered by Persevere. Legacy starts today.
What's cracking, y'all? We here for another edition of Free Game Thursday. This is Brandon Williamson, your host and creative director for PRSVR. If you're not familiar with the elevated lifestyle brand PRSVR, please get in tune with www.prsvr.com. Here to talk about your legacy starts today.
Legacy is what your name represents when you're no longer present.
You know, through our music and, through everything, politics, business, everyone talks about their legacy. We want to talk about legacy in a positive way. We want to talk about what our name says about us once we're no longer here on this earth. God forbid anything happens to us. What will people say about you once you're gone? What is your legacy about?
Question to answer. What is your legacy?
Before we get into it, I want you to think about that. What does your legacy say about you? You know what I mean? Like, what do you want your legacy to be? Take the time to think about that. Jot that question down. Like, really think about that, because that's going to be able to better alert you to how you can take care of these steps that we're going to go over today. So here we go. Legacy starts today.
Day one or one day?
Look at this one of two ways. We could look at legacy as something that will start on one day, or we can list day one as the day in which we start working on our legacy. Our legacy is what people think of us once we're no longer here. When people hear our name, once we've gone and, become part of the earth and our soul is done, whatever it is that you believe our soul is gonna do, what will people think about you? My name is Brandon Williamson. So it's like, okay, if someone brings up Brandon Williamson to my kids or, to nieces and nephews or whoever, like, I want them to say, yo, he was really about his family. He really put a lot of other people first, and was able to help a lot of people throughout things that he had learned. He took his experiences and moved them on to other areas of life where he was able to help his people learn things that they needed to know. Whoever my people are, Like, I got all kind of people. I've been in several different cities. I've lived all over the world. My people are my people, and y'all know who y'all are. So that's how I would define my legacy. There was a point in time where I felt like I wasn't achieving in the way that I felt I was supposed to achieve. I felt I was underachieving. I felt like I wasn't meeting the mark on the expectation that was put on my life. So I had to start eventually and say, like, hey, from here on out, this is how I'm going to do things. I'm going to show people that I can kind of make something out of nothing. I'm going to show them that, with this strand of hair, I can like turn this into who knows what, you know what I mean? Like, and we've done that time and time again. Like, in times we've had to restart it over and regain access to things. Like, we had to start at the bottom and regain it. Luckily, that was a point that we were familiar with. So building up from the bottom isn't really difficult for us. We got some other issues, you know what I mean? But building it from the bottom is something that we take great pride in, just in getting to know like the underlings and the underworking processes of what goes into making, the things that we do may happen. You know what I mean? So it's like, you look at it as one day or day one.
Do you have dreams or expectations?
You know what I mean? Like, it's like the difference between dreams and expectations. You know what I mean? We all got dreams, but we may not work towards our dreams. But once you start putting like action into it, you know what I mean? Like, it's day one for you. You know what I mean? If it's day one for you, like, yo, this is the day that I'm gonna start running it and getting it together, you got expectations now, because you're gonna want to start to see results from the work that you're doing. So the first thing we gotta do is put ourselves into the game. The game can mean anything. The game can mean whatever you need it to mean, So take the game however you need to take it, you know what I mean? But we need to start playing the game, you know what I mean? In order to get in the game, we got to play the game, you know what I mean? So the first thing that we need to do, is differentiate between our dreams and our expectations. Dreams is some stuff you want to do. Expectations are things that you're doing and you're expecting to see the results on. So when you look at it as day one, I'm setting a benchmark. Like, I no longer want to have my legacy viewed as ... I want my legacy to be viewed as ... You fill in them dots, you fill in them blanks to make sure that you're saying the things that you want to be said, because these are your answers, not mine. I've already gone through this exercise, but I want to make sure that you do, and trying to understand and make sure that you're leaving the legacy that you want left, for yourself or for your family. You know what I mean? What are you waiting for?
Point 2. What are you waiting for?
When it comes to the next step, once we've identified that we're going to start it today or start it tomorrow or start it never, we need to look at what are we waiting for. If we didn't say day one is the time where we're going to go for it and get it done, then why? You know, like in order for luck to happen and you to get lucky, you have to be prepared.
Luck is where preparation meets opportunity.
What I mean, like, I didn't have any expertise in figuring out how to meet Diddy, you know what I mean, or how to get Diddy to wear clothes or how to do fashion week or how to make clothes or anything. But, you know, based upon me going to learn the things that I've learned, the way that I've learned them, it's allowed for me to be prepared for some things that I didn't know were coming down the pipeline, where certain individuals would have needed more time or another person in order to kind of finish the things that I finished. I was able to get that done based upon luck, which is nothing more than preparation, meeting opportunity. If you were prepared and an opportunity came about, yeah, you got lucky because you got lucky because you knew to be prepared before the opportunity came. And we can look at luck all kind of ways. I look at luck as a voice that's telling me things, God's telling me things, I'm telling myself things. There are things being planted in frequencies that are transmitted that allow for us to make action based upon those transmittals. You know what I mean? So depending on what your frequency is hooked up to kind of determines what you're able to get connected to. You know what I mean? So in getting connected with the preparation and the opportunity, you may hear something that says, man, I don't know why, man, but I think we need a new luggage. We need a new luggage piece. We need new items that people are going to see. So let me get that done right now. Let me go finish that and do my part because the frequencies are letting me know we're going to need some luggage down the pipeline. Now come 2 months from now when, I don't know, Beyonce has some sort of thing, I'm prepared. So I can get this luck. You know what I mean? I can receive this blessing because I'm prepared. You know what I mean? So when we're looking at what are we waiting for, you can only be ready if you're prepared. So don't wait, go get prepared. You know what I mean? That's what we want to make sure that we're learning from that point. Like, what are we waiting for? Like, okay, if luck is preparation, meeting opportunity, I need to start my legacy today. I don't have time to start my legacy tomorrow because opportunity may knock tomorrow and I'm not going to be prepared. So I can't even get no luck. You know what I mean? You can't be like, oh, I'm so unlucky. You're so unprepared. You know what I mean? So understand the difference between those things and start to apply those things into our lives on a daily basis.
Take notes. Make progress.
The next thing we want to talk about, before we even get to number 3, make sure y'all are writing notes. I'm not saying write notes because I want y'all to jot my words down or use my words at your leisure. I want you to write the notes down because these are the things that you're going to need to be doing in order to see them come true. You're going to need to go back and reference these things to see like, dang, on October 14th, I wrote down that I wanted to change my legacy. Now look at me, October 14th, 2021, talking about my legacy and letting other people know how to change their legacy. You know what I mean? Because this information it has to stop being for our personal gain. We got to use this information to get to our people, whoever you consider your people. You know what I mean? I'm not saying like just spread this information amongst black folks so black folk can get the info. No, whoever you consider your people, start to spread that information because that's what happens. Like there's a breakdown in communication. Don't nobody want to tell everybody about how they get their money. Don't nobody want to tell everybody about how to keep their money or what things are coming up down the line that they may be able to duck around. Shoot, bro, and not get sucked up by the fucking wave, bro. Like we want to make sure we're letting our people know, hey, there's something coming down the line. I don't know if you can handle it without knowing it's coming. It almost took me out, bro. But I'm gonna let you know, up over that hill, it's some arrows, bro. You might want to watch it, you know what I mean? So we gotta make sure we're telling our people this information. Write it down. Might be somebody else that you don't know needs this information.
You need an indoor and an outdoor broom.
You know what I mean? I was thinking about it the other day. I was sweeping up the store, right? And then I had to go sweep outside because outside it's like debris that comes from off the mountain or whatever, wherever it comes from. Debris is always on the porch. So it's like leaves and dust and it just changes the color. So I was finna take my indoor broom outside. You know what I mean? This is gonna be the first time that this indoor broom would have been used outside. So I was like, man, nah, let me go and get the other broom. Cause it's like it was like the broom that came with the broom. So I was like, let me go get that broom to use that one for outside. And I was like, man, I'm gonna put up a post, right? Put up a post and be like, yo, you know, you need an indoor and an outdoor broom. And most of my friends would be like, duh, stupid, everybody know that. But then it's like, but think further about that. Do you know that everyone knows that? Do you know that all of your homies got indoor and outdoor brooms? Or do you think some of your homies, maybe your one homie, might be using his indoor broom outdoors and bringing that dirt back inside? You know what I mean? Like, before we want to jump to judgment and be like, everybody knows something, like, yo, spread that information amongst your own. If you see your homie sweeping outside, don't let him just sweep outside and be like, ooh, you dirty dog. Be like, hey, bro, let's run to the dollar store and get you another broom. Like, let's get you an outdoor broom. You don't want to bring that outside stuff inside. You don't know what's going on outside. That's game. You know what I mean? Like, you may not think that you have any information to offer people, but we all do, bro. We all got information that somebody else needs, but we sitting up there too tight talking about, oh, they already know that. Man, bro, you'd be surprised what people don't know, because a lot of people don't know a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? So always be willing to share knowledge, bro. That's all you can do. If somebody don't need your knowledge, bro, then they just be like, I already know that. Or they won't ask you nothing or something. You'll get a sign that's saying like, don't spread no knowledge with them no more. They think they know everything. And then you'll be able to back off. But to just not spread knowledge for no reason, that makes no sense, bro. We gotta stop doing that. So get off that. Sorry to take that long. We're breaking in between as the intermission point, but we're gonna get to number 3 and keep this joint rolling, all right? Because today we talking about what?
Legacy starts today.
We're talking about legacy starts today, bro.
Step 3, define your legacy.
Go to number 3. So define your legacy. You know what I mean? So after you decided to say, all right, today's the day. I'm about to start my legacy, bro. I'm about to get it cracking. I'm gonna go get my legacy on. I'm gonna be talking about 444 album all day. I'm gonna just be talking about that. People gonna get sick of me talking about legacy. And then after you've done that, you know, you've said today is the day. All right, cool. We're gonna go over there and be like, yo, what you waiting for, bro? Let's get this cracking. Like, we made a plan. We put the pieces together. We know what we want to talk about. We know how we want the legacy to shape out. Bet. Let's do it. All right, cool. So now we get into number 3. Bro, what's your legacy? We talked about that at the beginning. We were like, yo, you know, take these notes. This is what legacy is. So how do you define your legacy?
It's time to define your legacy.
And that's not something you need to answer right now. You know what I mean? Unless you know. You know what I mean? Some of my people be further along. Some of my people just starting to get, you know, to the bar. You know what I mean? So we just now getting it cooking. You know, so, you know, and don't feel either way. You know what I mean? Like, if you further along in the process, you don't need this, cool. Tell some homies, bro. Take this worksheet and send it to the homies that you know ain't dealing with legacy the right way. All right? Do that for real. So in defining your legacy, now, our legacy represents the work that we did while we were here on earth, or while we are here on earth. You can talk about your legacy while you're here. You can say, my legacy is family. My legacy is helping my people. That's today. You know what I mean? People come and ask me to do stuff all the time based upon my legacy and what I've listed as things that are important to me and have shown that those things are very important to me. So my name kind of connects to those things. People know that when my name comes up, it's associated with good things. So they ask me to do good things because they want me to bring those good things to the table. So based upon that, you got to seek adjustments.
Seek adjustments.
You know what I mean? When I wanted to be, you know, known as, you know, a person sharing information, I had to start to bring people in to kind of make my information spread. So we were bringing in stylists, interns, workers, you know, anyone that was around us that we felt was able to receive that information, was able to go forward using that information to mold their lives so that they were able to then go forward and, you know, we got to keep going. We got to set it up. You got to, this is an institution. So as an institution, we're going to teach you. We need you to go teach them. And then we need them to go teach them. We need them. And we just get it cracking. We take the whole thing and we get it cracking and we move it away the way we need. We move it away. Excuse me. We move it around the way we need to move it around. You know what I mean? So that's how the information travels, by sharing it. You know what I mean? So as you're defining your legacy, we have to seek those adjustments. We have to see like, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to spread information. Okay, cool. If you're going to spread information, you're going to need some people behind you that's going to be able to take that information and spread it to other people. You can't just be like, I want to spread information and just tell yourself and write it in a journal. You're going to need some followers. You're going to need some disciples. You're going to need some prophets. You're going to need some kings and queens that's going to be like, yo, I'm locking in arms with your word, bro, but yo, we got to come with it. You know what I mean? Like, it's just got to be those things that are understood as you begin to build your team. Excuse me, as you begin to build your team, you want to be building your team with people that have the qualities that you need in order for that information to continue to spread. And don't think you need a bunch of smart people or a bunch of teachers or a bunch of doctors or a bunch of lawyers. You need people that have the ability to make people listen to them. And those are the ways that I'm able to continue spreading a message. I can let people know, like, this is how I dealt with that type of situation. And then they can deal with it a similar or same way. And now they have a story that they can tell and say, hey, My guy dealt with that same thing, and this is how he dealt with it. One time I called one of my industry friends, and I was having an issue with kind of consistently hitting my head on the ceiling. You know what I mean? I would constantly go and build it up, and then something would happen, and I'm back downstairs. And this is like, man, like I did all that work to get up here, and y'all see me up here, and now you're sending me back downstairs again to go do some more work. And that was frustrating, you know what I mean? Because it wasn't anything I had done incorrectly, but it was whatever. It's their rooms. They can pick who gets to go in there whenever they want to go in there. But it was frustrating. So then I was chopping it up with him, and he told me some information that, like, you got to go back to the reason why you started doing it and just do that again. You know what I mean? Like, you can't, you know, if it's truly what you love, you'll keep going. You'll find a way to always bring that energy back about to make you back sharp. You know, artists, rappers will always talk about going back to their old projects or their old neighborhood, or going back to situations that allow for them to remember why they love doing what they do so much. So once we got that information, we were able to take that information that he told us and seek adjustments. You know, we were able to see, like, okay, is this really what I was trying to do? Is what I'm doing today helping me get closer to where I am? And if it's not, as you're seeking those adjustments, now you have to make those adjustments.
Now it's time to make adjustments.
We are a company that talks about the elevated lifestyle. Elevation means to us to just go to the next step and be better. Just go to the next step and be better. I'm just constantly going up. If you see me next year and you haven't seen me in a year, I'm be in a better situation than I was last year. That's elevation to us. But elevation in general is mountains and airplanes and traveling and moving around and just constantly moving around. Whereas we take it as getting better, the world constantly looks at elevation as going higher. Perseverance, persevering, elevation, all those things that we use as monikers and things involved, we have to make the adjustment to make that more clear. So we started using airplanes more often. We started, you know, our store is right in front of a mountain. You know what I mean? Like, we're in the mountainous area here in Burbank. Constantly showing a leveling up, you know, going from Chicago to Atlanta to DC to Detroit, all these places that we've gone and culminated all of the people that we've culminated a relationship with. And now we're in Los Angeles, in Burbank, in the media capital of the world. Making the adjustments once you sought what you're after, you have to make the adjustments to continue to make sure that you're getting closer to that plan. Like, it's not just gonna happen just because you want it to happen. We're back up to the dreams and expectations. If you have expectations, then that means you put some work in and you expect that work to get you some tation. You know what I mean? But you're expecting that work to make sure that it's getting you the result that you're expecting. If it's not, then it's not work. You're spinning your wheels, you're not persevering. You're spinning in the mud, and that's not what we want to do. We always want to take the time to adjust if we feel like we might blow out our transmission. I don't know how many of y'all have been stuck in the snow before, but I've been stuck in the snow and trying to shimmy from reverse to drive, trying to get up out the ice, and you got a rear-wheel drive car in Detroit, in the Midwest, in Chicago, and it doesn't work. You're just spinning the wheels. The wheels are just turning and turning and turning. You don't want to get into those situations because you'll blow out your transmission. You'll ruin your car. You'll ruin your day. You know what I mean? We don't want to call AAA and get us out of that. We don't want to, you know, get a bunch of people outside the car and helping us push it and those things hurt. We don't want to do them. But by not doing the proper things needed, we blow out our transmissions. You know what I mean? So define your legacy. Seek those adjustments. See what things you need to do in order to achieve that goal, because it's so important. If it's important to you. If it's not important to you, then yeah, you don't need to watch this video. You don't need to go forward with any of the teaching or any of the things that we're speaking on. You can completely log out if that's not important to you. But if it's important to you, defining your legacy, seek the adjustments and then make the adjustments. They may be difficult. They definitely will be difficult. They're not designed to be easy things. Why would they be easy? If they're things that could be easy, then everyone would have the same legacy and we'd have the same things to say about everyone. But as you know, when we talk about some people, we have one opinion. When we talk about some other people, we have another opinion. You know what I mean? So which side of those opinions do you want to be on? Does it
Ready
matter
to define
you?
your
And then we
legacy?
go forward and we make our decisions from there. Number 4, create your pillars.
Step 4, create your pillars.
I call myself persevere, you know what I mean? Based upon the things that I felt I had to go through in the industry of building up my name. You know what I mean? And building my name up and doing certain tasks and, getting my name known, I felt like I had to do more work, but got less of the accolades sometimes. You know what I mean? So instead of complaining about it, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna just call myself persevere, because I'm always gonna be here. You know what I mean? I'm always gonna be here, letting y'all know that I'm here, even though y'all may not give me the accolades that you're saying you're giving for doing this exact same amount of work. So we just went with that. You know what I mean? Like, so the moniker of PRSVR was what we created after we took the word persevere, removed all the E's from it, and then created passion, resilience, sacrifice, values, and respect. So not only are those the things that I tell people, those are also, my pillars for success. Those are my pillars for my legacy. Those are things that I use to always keep me in tune with my path. You know what I mean? Yours may not be as snazzy, it may not be a word that you're creating, but it's something that you need to create for you to be able to use as a compass going forward. Write that down.
These pillars should be used as a compass going forward.
So by using our pillars as a compass going forward, we're able to clearly define what we stand on and what represents us, and we can use that information to keep us on that path.
What can you stand on?
If we're a person who wants to be known for doing honest business, we should never be stealing. The top thing within your pillars is honesty is first, because it is important to you to be known as an honest businessman or honest businesswoman. So you want to make sure that honesty is the top thing in your criteria, so that you're not making decisions that aren't based upon you being honest. You know what I mean? Like, in order to be an honest business person, you have to be fair. In disputes, you have to be exactly who you say you are. You have to be consistent in your word. Those are pillars. If you are saying that you want to be the top dance teacher in the world, well, you're gonna have to come up with some new dances. And when new dances come out, you're gonna have to know them first. So innovation is gonna have to be like the top pillar of your legacy, if that's your legacy. If your legacy is being the top rapper, you're gonna have to create some rap styles. You're gonna have to sell a lot of albums. You're gonna have to, run your city before you talk about running a region. You know what I mean? Like, there's fundamental things that will keep you on track based upon you creating your pillars, being consistent about them, and knowing what you can stand on.
Create consistency.
You know what I mean? So once you know what you can stand on, create that consistency. Allow for those pillars to be the drivers for your decision making, not the other way around, because that's how you'll get into doing things for money when money might not be your accelerant. But if it is your accelerant, make sure that money is the top thing. If your goal is you want your legacy for you to be the richest man in the world, well, yeah, you got to start doing some good deals. You got to start coming up upon some money. You have to start to do some things that allow for you to propel yourself into that category and into that conversation, constantly throwing through and through. The last step for sure that we want to discuss when it comes to your legacy starting today, and it's probably the biggest piece that we have in anything that we're doing, bro. You got to keep going. It's not going to be easy. It's not supposed to be easy. It will require some resilience.
It will require resilience.
It will require making some decisions that you think aren't the best, but it's being done to keep your legacy intact. You know what I mean? Like, we run into it all the time. Like, just being in situations where it's like, if I choose to do this, it could potentially be looked at this way. If we say these things, then these things may make other people look at us this way. If it has nothing to do with our legacy, we have to be very careful on how we decide to use our voices, how we decide to use our ideas, how we decide to use our affiliations, because those things will have the ability to make our legacy look different to other people. It's Free Game Thursday, y'all. I appreciate y'all time. Y'all be good. We're going to continue building it out, man. Continue to rock with your boy. Have a good week, y'all. We'll talk to y'all soon, all right? Peace.
Legacy starts today. Presented by Free Game Thursdays. Step 1. Day 1 or 1 day. Distinguish between your dreams and expectations. Step 2. What are you waiting for? Remember that luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And make sure to write your notes along with this lesson. Step 3. Define your legacy. Be sure to seek adjustments and make adjustments. Step 4. Create your pillars. What can you stand on? And then create consistency. And step 5, keep going. It will require resilience. How important is your legacy? Powered by Persevere.